I'd like to welcome you to the Elm City Rotary talk show this morning, and I'm pleased to have with us, we are going to be talking about our scholarship program, and I have with me this morning is our chairman, Craig Stockwell, and a longtime member, Jay Schmeltz. And they're going to tell me a little bit about how long that you've been the chairman. How many years have you been?
How many years have I been the chairman? I've been the chairman, I'd say, since 2006.
It's a long time,
That
and
is.
a lot has happened and with your leadership. And I know, Jay, you've done tremendous. You've been a real supporter of the committee, and I know you've worked hard with recipients. And now, how long have you been on the committee?
I would say it's about the same time, since the early 2000s.
2000.
Been in the committee that long.
Now, I joined the committee because I was very interested in it. How many do we have on the committee?
We probably, let's see, I think about 12 or 14 now.
So it gives us a real good depth in,
yeah.
Talking about the applicants and what they do, which we will get into when as we go forward here. But and certainly you took over and just keep the ball going, and certainly has made a very successful group. When going way back, was even before I became a member of that club. When did that all get started, and can you share with me how it sort of the ball got going and where we're up to?
Well, one of our previous club presidents, Alan Stroheim, encouraged a couple of members who had a similar interest in a scholarship committee to take the ball and run with it. The members had been to a scholarship presentation at a high school and had seen many worthy and successful high school students receiving scholarships, but it was the same few people all the time. And the group recognized that there are many, many other students out there who are just as deserving and work just as hard, but because of the kinds of other activities in their life, they're not able to get the traditional high school scholarships. So we came up with the idea of an unsung hero scholarship. And that has been our theme and really the name and the title of this scholarship since that inception of it.
Can I put a couple more details on that?
Sure, please. That's what I'd like.
So it was 2002, and Cameron Tees and Nancy Hayden were the two people who set it up. And if I can, I'll read the definition of the fund.
Please.
Which is the Keene Elm City Rotary Scholarship Fund. The Scholarship Fund is designed to recognize the unsung heroes of our region, those who embody the Rotary ideal of service above self. The successful candidate will have engaged in significant service to his or her community, school, religious organization, or to his or her struggling family. This service may have come at some cost to his or her academic career. In fact, it may have even replaced that career. And it's any Monadnock region resident between the ages of 16 and 106 who has been accepted to an accredited institution of further learning or training and needs financial support to enroll in that institution.
Well, that really says it, and I think the beautiful part of this whole thing is the Monadnock region. We as a service organization, we support the community, and this defines it very, very, very well. Can you share with us how this has grown? What every year, what our club does? We do fundraisers and whatever. Can we share that? Is that something I think would be very interesting to people?
We started out with a sum of money that was gifted to us by a member of the club. He had received a professional award himself, a substantial cash award for professional work that he was doing, and that became the corpus of this scholarship fund. It is managed for us by the New Hampshire Charitable Fund, and through donations from other individuals in our Elm City Rotary Club, it has grown to a substantial amount in
Perfect.
12 or 15 years.
Yep.
Yeah, the original, there was a kind of contest actually between the Brattleboro Club and our club. And,
Okay.
and both clubs set a goal of $100,000, to raise $100,000. And Brattleboro got there first. But we have gotten there and past that. And we have assets of over $100,000 now, so that we use that as an endowment.
That's what I think is so wonderful about the program, and that we know we have X number of dollars that we can share among the candidates, and by reviewing, which we will get to as we go along in our program. Generally, the number of scholarships that we give out, is there any rule of thumb, or could you share with us that?
Well, over the years, we began really with the conception that it was an award for one person. And frankly, I know in the early years I had a conception of that person who was generally a working woman in her 40s or 50s who was going back to school.
Yep.
That was the idea I kind of had in my mind, and those were our first awardees for the most part. Over time, with a little more money and also with a change of perspective, one of the things I enjoy about the committee and the work we do is every year we're really redefining a number of things. We're redefining what is the Monadnock region, because that's how it's up for
Very true. Yes,
we're
it does.
redefining age, and the question about that we've really wrestled with the last 6 years or so is it more powerful to give one large award, or is it more powerful to recognize more people? So the last 5 years, 6 years, we've given four or five awards each year. So we've split up. The amount at this point that we give is around $4,500. And so we've split that up in the last 4 or 5 years to recognize more people.
Right.
That's right.
It's not a lot of money, but I've gotten to know one of our recent scholarship winners who has talked about the amount that she got in a couple of ways as helping her. One is that she uses it as leverage. Another scholarship or higher education funding granting agency recognizes that she was awarded one scholarship, and she's able to use the recognition that we gave her towards getting a second grant or a second scholarship. They also see our scholarship, as explained to me by this recent award winner, she sees it as a confidence booster. She realized that there were people out there who valued the work that she did, valued the path that she had been on, recognized that this was a hardworking person who was committed to service in her community, and used that really to sort of help her on her own path. And I think the confidence boosting part is not something that should be overlooked in the value of this scholarship to
Do they get to come back, and they do come back and talk to all of the Rotarians, and that sort of also gives them...
Yep.
One of the things we offer is to be mentors, and so we offer that to the students, and each recipient is set up with one of the members of the committee to be their mentor for the year and to remain in touch, and with the intention of inviting them to the club, to meetings, to meet people, to network. We've been somewhat successful with that, and somewhat not successful.
Well, in that light, the application preparation, I noticed being on the committee, there's quite a bit involved for the applicant to prepare. It's not just one single piece of paper. Can you share a little bit about that? And then I think there's also they have to get...
Yes.
Beautiful.
I can
and they have to...
show the... there's... if I can, have that camera. It's a fairly exhaustive application, and we now have it available online on our website. And one of the things it demands a lot of is that 2 endorsers.
Right.
And the endorsers really, we as a committee read those endorsements really carefully. They're references, and they're people not from the family, people from their life who have worked with them or know them well. And we know when we're kind of getting pat endorsements or when we're getting really sincere, heartfelt endorsements. And so there's a lot of work demanded.
The in that light, now, how are we getting the word out? Granted, this program is going to certainly help a lot of young people and older people that are qualified, but how do we get that student that's out there that wants to take that step forward?
Well, as a member of the committee, over the last few years, I've contacted the directors of financial aid at Antioch New England University. We have talked to the guidance counselors at high schools. We've spoken to individuals in administration at River Valley Community College. It's word of mouth, and we hope we're strategic in who we're talking to, people who are able to share the information about the scholarship to get applicants to respond to us.
I was thinking, driving over here this morning, actually, it's that time of year where I need to put it in motion again. It's almost February, and our deadline is March 31st for the year. And so at this point, I will sort of put the committee members in motion and invite each of them. And the responsibility is each committee member is expected to bring in one applicant. And it's also, given the extensive work involved with the application, we don't want tons of applications. We want well thought out applications from
qualified.
If we're awarding 4 scholarships, if we get 10 qualified candidates, that's good. And we usually do get around 10 to 15 applicants a year, and they tend to be all worthy.
Going back, a quick question back, Jay, where you have really, I've been impressed being on the committee with people that you've contacted and been involved with that have perhaps come back more than once. Is this something you could share a little bit?
We've had any number of students who have reapplied for a second year and have, in many cases, been awarded a second scholarship. That gives us the opportunity to see how they use their scholarship money their first year. It helps us to know that they're on the path that they were talking about wanting to be on when they applied for the first year. And it creates a wonderful relationship between the Elm City Rotary Club and the scholarship award winners. And it gives us it's a great experience, I think, that works well for both.
That sounds wonderful.
I have a correction.
Go ahead,
to
please.
Make. Yes, I realize it's 3 people need to endorse you, not 2, I said.
3. Yeah.
And I just want also to add to that, and I lost the thought. Go ahead.
Okay.
The each year, as you said, we'd like to have, maybe say, 10 to 12 applicants, and they're going to be really good ones. And we're kind of headed on the same path this year. Have we had any inquiries yet this year?
I don't believe it.
I've had one inquiry.
Well, that's see, that's important. If they know and they're out there, and I really don't want to dwell on the unsung hero, but if we could go back to that a little bit. Generally, sometimes that person that's getting the scholarship isn't getting 10 scholarships. Is that something that you could elaborate on a little bit?
Well, and I think in terms of finding people, too, it's important. And I do remember what I wanted to say was in terms of people coming back a second year, we realize that if we're supporting people and they're just starting off in college or something, that it can be even more important to get in there the second year. But in terms of that, these aren't generally the people who are going to show up on the scope easily for every guidance counselor. They're not going to say, oh yeah, you've got to. So we have to search a little, and that's why it's really this method of having each committee member kind of use their resources to track someone down seems to work.
And one of the reasons they don't show up, which is I think a very important reason for this committee, one of the reasons they don't show up on a guidance counselor's radar is because they may be an individual who is taking care of a family member, volunteering at for a community service project, working a part-time job to support themselves and their family, and are quite frankly spread very thin and not getting the recognition in the school that they will then be able to use for other awards. These are people who are out working and being engaged in their own communities in their own ways right now.
And generally, we've all heard too, is when they do get their scholarships, it's very appreciated. They really appreciate it, and I think they use it. And then when we do have the reviews with them, see what they've done with it and how their life is going ahead. What can you tell me a little bit about on the committee? How do we select, or do the committee members all just volunteer? I know I asked because I was interested in it, and I'm wondering how the rest of our committee is comprised.
Well, it's for the first time this year, I was asked by the Rotary Club. They said, "Are you worried about getting a little too big? Because we have people who really want to be on the committee, but your numbers are getting kind of large." And so, haven't given it much thought. Mostly, it's people who are attracted to the work, or attracted to working with scholarships.
Yep.
A lot of people have school or administrative experience, and so they feel they have some knowledge to give.
Well, I think it's nice, and I think it's a wonderful program, and certainly I think our Rotary Club can be commended for what they have done. There's a lot of programs out there in the world today that, they make a loan or something of that nature, but I think where we give this to them.
We don't ask for a minimum grade point average or a certain number of credit hours. We anticipate that they're going to be using the money to continue their education, but there are many times that students have changed their mind and gone off in a different direction. That's okay with us. We want them to make a good decision about that, but we don't ask for minimum grade point averages or those kinds of things that many other scholarships request that students maintain.
It's important to note that the line is to an accredited institution of further learning or training. These are not all necessarily colleges. Some of them are professional training programs.
That's an important point. Very good point. And along in that line, the programs and the things that the Elm City Rotary Club does do as community projects and whatever, some of those funds can still, am I right, can still go to allow you and the committee to maybe give additional scholarships versus that amount that was originally set up. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Last year, for example, we had such a wonderful roster of applicants. And we went to the club after we'd awarded our batch. We awarded 3 scholarships, and we still had another group that we felt we would really strongly like to recognize. So the club granted us another $2,500 to spread out amongst 5 more people, again with the sort of recognition awards. They $500 isn't a huge amount, but it gives.
But it does help. It sure does. And I think you said before, gave the person that I know that you're the mentor of, what she shared with you, and gives her confidence in what
it gave her connection to a wider community.
Correct. Yep.
Introduced her to people who were sincerely interested in her educational path and her professional goals.
Yeah. If I may, we've got a few minutes, but I'd love to ask the question is just to share with me on how great this program for our community. Now, granted, you've defined the community area, and how is this going to continue to grow and attract these young people and older people who are going down that path?
Well, I think it benefits the community because we are another source of financing for higher education. That means that more people can attain their professional and academic goals. So I think it generally benefits the community in a very small way, but in that direction. We are always looking for new applicants and always trying to get the word out. And I think as we have grown ourselves as an organization, as part of the Elm City Rotary, more people have become aware of us. And we're not a traditional scholarship. We don't have the connection to us comes through the website of Elm City Rotary, which is KeeneElmCityRotary.org, I believe.
And another point that we kind of alluded to a little bit of thing is like graduation times. We're not there presenting the scholarship at graduations and things of that nature. Am I right on that?
That's right. Yeah. No, and I mean, they have that night at Keene High where everybody parades across the stage and they're awarded the. Yeah. No, we're independent of that.
But we recognize we have an Elm City Rotary Club meeting every Thursday, and one of the meetings in the spring is devoted to the recognition of our scholarship awardees
presentation.
And our presentation.
Where they all come. Yeah.
And we hear a little bit about their story, and it's wonderful to meet their families and get to know them a little better too.
Yes, and I think, having been there myself a few times, to see how grateful the families are and the recipients, and they get up there and they, some of these people have never gotten up and spoken to 60 some odd people, and they do it, and I think that just carries a little bit along as to how we reinforce and make them a better person as they go into their careers. Are there any other things that we need to worry about as a committee, or do you see down the road for maintaining our scholarship program?
Well, I think we are well funded, and we're getting that. We debate as a club whether to. For example, the last several years, we have not actively fundraised to grow the endowment further. We've just recently made a decision that we're going to go back to actively fundraising amongst the club to bring that up. And the club makes a contribution to the fund every year anyway, the club itself. So I think, it seems that it would be wonderful to have a more substantial sum to be able to give to individuals to really
The need is only getting greter, as we all know. Yeah. Higher education costs more, professional development costs more, incomes are not increasing, the need is only increasing.
But the remarkable thing is that the short time to have grown a fund as large as the Elm City Rotary Club has done has been remarkable. And
really, I guess we're maybe at 15 years this year.
Now, does the club intend to grow that amount, or is that the limit?
No limit. And so, yes, the club has discussed this year on the board level and made a commitment to going back to active fundraising.
So that would then raise the quote-unquote the charitable trust amount.
Yeah.
Wow, that's outstanding.
I like to focus on the awardees, and I've gotten to know one who has just been a great success story. She is a student at River Valley Community College. She's a young woman in her 40s, raised a family, single mother, and then went back to college. We gave her a scholarship 2 years ago, and we re-awarded the scholarship last year. And to get ready for this conversation today, I talked to her, and she's already got a job on the career path that she's on. And she is extremely proud of that. She also said to me that she feels like she's become a real role model for her daughter. I think it's great that this amount of money that we gave has been used as an example, used as a way to show success, and a parent has helped her daughter indirectly by her story.
I think that's one thing that I love having you talk about, because the recipient, I mean, granted, we can do all we want to do and raise money, but the recipients, what they do with that award, and then it's
There's
gratifying.
another recipient from 2012 and 2011 who has since become a member of our club, Eve, I'm talking about.
Oh, right.
And
yes.
he was a student at Antioch. He was here from Rwanda.
Rwanda,
Yeah.
yes.
And has settled in the region now, works for the city, and still continues on, incredibly active. And his first contact with the club was through the scholarship fund.
And that's so appropriate where Rotary is an international,
Yeah.
and here we have him as an example, and he is awarded that the scholarship, and
Yeah.
we all can see what he is doing now. That's wonderful. Do you have anything more that you might like to add to this that would make our viewers really?
Well, I mean, I would put out a request that if you know of anybody, you can contact us through the website, and
That's important.
The application is available on the website, and refer people to that. And our deadline's March 31st.
So therefore, we want people out there to, if they hear someone, and is it true a lot of times that the people perhaps maybe are afraid because they think that they might not be able to get a scholarship?
Yeah.
And I think all of us in the application process have talked to people who are interested, and I think we can offer some encouragement and help people with that application. We can't write the recommendations for them, but we can encourage them to go ahead and apply.
Well, I thank you all very, very much, and I certainly thank the viewers for any support they can give to our Elm City Rotary Club. And thank you, gentlemen, for being here this great show, and hopefully we'll have a lot of new students this year.
Yes,
Thank you very much.